Let's play some hockey.
You are watching Gouche Live featuring Paul Rosen. Paul will be with me tomorrow. We've got some big news coming, guys, so make sure you check out 4 o'clock tomorrow. We've got Stephen Ellis from the Hockey News with us, and we're making a big announcement starting Tuesday. Something big's happening, and it's happening right here. So make sure you get a chance to check that out. I see behind you that is Kurt Brown, and we've got him here. We're going to be talking to him exclusively about his life, about skating, figure skating, hockey, everything. We're going to know everything about Kurt Browning before you leave this program, and we're going to find out about a really cool product he's involved with. Good friend of mine, Brad Thorpe. We've had him on the show. He's involved with Isofit, and thank God Kurt's and Brad have got together because they got to get me back on it because this body's not looking good. Okay, listen, without further ado, I want to tell you a little bit about hockey going on. Listen, the NHL, the Montreal Canadiens game tonight against the Ottawa Senators has been delayed by 1 hour due to COVID. Wow, we're either canceling or we're delaying. We're coming up with all these new things. I can't keep up. Arizona announced that they've let go the assistant general manager and executive vice president of hockey operations. Mr. Sullivan is gone. And before I go into what went on with Bayern Munich for you, Mr. Bertz, do you know what? Toronto beat Montreal 4-2 yesterday. And you want to know what? McDavid and Draisaitl didn't score for Edmonton. They won. And Marner and Matthews didn't score for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they won. So you guys do all that figuring out. Okay, just before we get one of the greatest skaters of all time, Kurt Browning up, I want to tell you, Bayern Munich with our Alphonso Davies beat the Mexican, I guess they come out of the championships out of the South, the Tigres, 1-0 to win Club World Cup today. So that's for you, Michelle Bertz. Thank you for joining us all the way from Lübeck, Germany. All right, without further ado, you know who I got? I got the man that can skate, Kurt Browning. Kurt, what's going on?
I'm just having a giggle over that weirdo over your right shoulder. How you doing? Nice to be here.
Hang on. It's actually green. Oh, no, you're there. Hey, I'm fantastic. I'm really, really excited about this. You know, I'm a hockey dude. And anytime I can get somebody as famous as you, let's not talk about famous. You know all your accolades, but I'm going to give you some of them if you forgot them. What an incredible figure skater. I, as a hockey player at a young age, was asked to take 1 year of figure skating on edges and all that sort of stuff. Everybody thought, well, that was weird, as in Winnipeg. Not many guys did it. My mother was a speed skater, so her friend said, try them. And I'll tell you what an improvement. You wouldn't notice it now at my age, but I could dangle. I could skate. But listen, you're a choreographer. You're a commentator, obviously, on Battle of the Blades. Yeah, that is an incredible show. I know you've got a new role this year. You were incredible with that also. But let's talk about you being a 4-time world champion and, of course, Canadian national champion. That's incredible. If you don't mind, before you tell us about that, how you got to that level, talk about Kurt Browning as a kid and falling in love with figure skating.
Cool. It's always exciting to be on a show that's focused on hockey because I loved it as a kid. I haven't kept up with it as an adult, so I don't watch it that much. But when I lived in Edmonton, it was eat, breathe, hockey. And I don't quite know exactly the moment where I switched gears and started prioritizing figure skating over hockey because I was constantly doing both as a kid, like going figure skating for 2 hours after school and then changing from figure skates and whatever I was wearing that was tight and glistening to the hockey equipment in the back of the station wagon. And then I don't know why, but my hockey skates didn't have guards. So my dad would actually baby carry me in from the car and we would sit in the stands until the whistle blew and I'd hop over and join my team and play the rest of the game. So I loved growing up being both, but eventually it made way more sense for me to become a figure skater. And I think it was the friendships and the jumps essentially that kept me on that side of the fence.
Well, there's a long list of accolades that are here, and I will pick out some of them. And please do not be upset at me if I forget any of them. But being a 4-time world champion, obviously being in 3 Winter Olympics, there you are. That's how I know you, the consummate professional, the gentleman on the ice. I recall at one time in Germany watching you in the Olympics. I think it was back in '92, if I'm not mistaken. So I hope I'm not aging you too much, but what an honor to not only be at a high level, but tell us what that feeling is to skate for your country first, because there's nothing better than that.
Well, yeah, if you've been lucky enough to be around Olympians, and Gaetan Boucher was the first Olympian I ever met, and when he walked in the room, I literally I freaked out, and I think that there is just a glow and a respect, and kind of like we're the soldiers of sport for our countries. In a way, we kind of represent our countries, and we go and we battle fairly and honestly and purely and for the love of the sport. And it's awesome. To have the maple leaf on your back and to travel around the world and to see how the countries and the rest of the world treat you because you're Canadian. It makes you feel awesome, and there's a huge responsibility. So when you show pictures from the Olympics, it's a dichotomy of feelings, because I had 2 opportunities to come home with a medal and maybe even win, and it didn't happen either time. So I have incredibly conflicted feelings about them. Incredible moments in my life taught me so much about who I was and who I wanted to be when I got older, and also a lot of real sadness and disappointment there.
But listen, there's a lot of great things here. Obviously, the flag bearer carrying in the Canadian flag in 1994 for the games up in Norway. Tell us about that excitement, because that's a true honor, and man, must have been just something you'll never forget.
Absolutely. No, I have that picture up in the office, and Brian Orser carried the flag in 1988 in Calgary, and then in '92. They offered me the flag in 1992, and I was really surprised because I just didn't think that I was on the list, let alone that they would pick me. And also Brian, just another figure skater, had carried it 4 years earlier. But I had slipped L4, L5 discs, and I was not. We even considered not even going to that Olympics because I just was so ill prepared. But there was a chance, so you go. And then they offered me to carry the flag. So we actually had a little meeting, team leader and my parents and I and coach, and we decided not to accept it because we didn't know how much time standing around or how heavy the flag was. We just didn't know what it would do to my back. So we actually turned it down. Then when the Olympics switched from they went from every 4 years, summer and winter, to every 2 years, winter, summer. All of a sudden there was another Olympics only 2 years away. And when the opportunity came again, what a lucky young man I get to carry it again.
Here it is right here. Yeah, this is incredible. What a picture. Man.
So young.
Hey, there's not much difference.
Yeah, there's inside and out, my friend. Speaking of,
I know.
Can I show you another picture? I'm going to hold it up.
Of course you can.
Okay, so you mentioned growing up in Alberta, growing up in Caroline, and how hockey had a lot to do. I have a photograph I'm going to show you of me in Caroline on the last day, I think, of the season when we're doing the hockey photos.
Look at you.
And there I am, full head of hair, and 2 guys wrestling and fighting in the background. And that's in the Caroline Arena, but now it's actually called the Kurt Browning Arena. Isn't that crazy? So somehow that kid became what's left of this. I've got a few pictures we'll share with you during our chat, but
fantastic. Hey, listen, it's not the looks, kid. We know how beautiful you are inside. Listen, there's a lot more here, guys. Thank you for joining us on our hockey show. But we had an opportunity to have Kurt Browning on here. There's no way we would bypass that at all. One of the things, I have to read this, but before I go there, on the right-hand side, there are people joining us from around the world. And I'm going to have to ask this question. Andorra Kunstler. Do you know that name?
Kunstler, yeah.
Hartlich aus Hamburg, from Hamburg. Stay healthy. I played over there, so I'm not sure it's directed at me, but I don't think so. I think it's directed at you. And she says El Taman, so that means old guy. Okay, now she is talking about me. Come on, now stop it.
I think we're up there together.
All the way from Melbourne, Australia. Such a fan. Thank you for all what you have done and continue to be a Canadian ambassador. Just beautiful.
Wow, from Melbourne. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Melbourne. This is from Toronto. Bobby B, one of our longtime listeners, longtime, all-time contributor to the show. Could Kurt talk about how fierce the competition amongst the skaters is? We see rivalries in hockey on full display, but not sure we get a glimpse into the world of figure skating show.
Yeah.
I guess he hasn't watched a couple of those videos that came out over the years, but please talk to us about that.
But I always because I did play hockey, I always thought how interesting would figure skating be if they allowed contact and fighting in the 5-minute warm up before the event started. And you could imagine, skating to beautiful artistic music and blood still trickling down. It would completely be a different sport. But the rivalries are harder to see because each individual athlete takes the ice alone. Or a couple take the ice alone in my sport. And what I tell kids who figure skate, you can come 20th out of 20 competitors and still be the skater that they're talking about in the car on the way home. That's what I love about figure skating, is that nobody takes your moment away from you but you. And so the rivalries, because we don't hit a ball past each other or punch each other or score on the other team, the rivalries are harder to see. And it's it's always like that in sport. It's what can that guy take away from me that could be mine, a Canadian championship, but how much my family and myself and how many injuries I've had, how much I put on the line. And along comes somebody like Elvis Stojko, who's super talented and younger than you, but he's game. And so I think the rivalry, it's really about what that person is going to take away from you. And yet a great rivalry can be what can that person give to you, and it's motivation, and it's the intensity of the moment, appreciation of the moment. And if you do win, then it means something. So I think that that having to earn it with a great rivalry like I had with Victor Petrenko and Elvis Stojko just made things better. And but they're harder to see in figure skating. And you kind of, there's a little bit of trash talking in my sport, but not that much.
Thank you for sharing honestly, that is something that we like to hear, to understand that competition just sometimes makes you better, and what you did with you. I love the picture over your shoulder.
Yeah.
A pair of skates, a pair of blades. Hockey dudes, they usually have jerseys and all that sort of stuff. What a great picture. Are those your skates, or is it just a picture that you had found?
They're actually my skates. They're my old figure skates. And quickly to explain that, it's called figure skating because it's not in the sport anymore, but we used to, and it was a very important part of the sport, draw figures or figure eights or turns or loops or whatever it might be on clean ice. And that was the first part of the competition. And now, a long time ago, it was the biggest part of the competition. Thus, it was called figure skating. So those are my old figure skates. And I wore those for about a decade, I think, because they don't really wear out because you're not really jumping or anything in them. And a friend of mine named Will Fisk, F-I-S-K, and he's an amazing painter. The photograph was taken because he was going to paint them. And I think he's still going to paint them. And I like the photograph so much that I kept it.
It's coming. I was told it was coming. Hey, listen, on March 25th, 1988, something very special happened. You can go back, the Commodore 64. It's called the first ratified quadruple jump, a toe loop in the competition.
Yeah.
And it was the first time. And what's really cool, I'm going to let you tell the story. I could read it off, but it's better coming from you.
The quad, as we call it, is commonplace in the sport now. I mean, it's still respected, but now some skaters even have 3, 4, 5 in one program. Nathan Chen from the United States has landed more quads in one competition than I did in my whole career as an amateur put together. So the jump back in 1985, 86, 87, and then 88 when I landed it was really rare. And I saw Brian Orser and I saw Brian Boitano both land them. And that motivated me to go home and try it. I tried it in secret. I didn't want anyone to watch me fall and hurt myself and get embarrassed. So I worked on it alone And I actually went back and opened up the rink myself and went back and tried it. Then when I sort of had it under control, I showed it to my coach, Michael Uranek, and he's like, we're going to go with this. The quad made a big difference in my life, and it really was pretty special. In fact, it helped get the attention of Michael Barnett, who, of course, you know, is famously as Wayne Gretzky's agent. And he approached me and he said, if you land this jump at the World Championships, I already tried it at the Olympics in '88 in Calgary, and I almost landed it. He said, if you landed at the Worlds in Budapest, I will be able to get you a free car. And so I thought, as a young man who didn't have a car, this is gold. Wayne Gretzky's agent's going to get me a car. So I was highly motivated, landed the jump, got the car. And then 3 months later, the dealer called me and said, hey, I need my car back. I've sold it. I go, how could you sell my car? And he goes, because it's mine. I loaned it to you. And so for the whole summer, a young man thought he owned an Audi. But I did not own it. I had to give it back. But it was still a pretty great summer.
Kind of same story. I had that as a team playing over in Europe. I had an Audi wagon on the autobahn. You could just imagine how much fun. And getting it back was the hardest thing I ever had to do. Listen, you mentioned the name Wayne Gretzky. There's a lot of similarities between you and him, of course, in 1990. And I wanted to make sure there, look at that youngster. Look at that youngster.
Let's see if I can
60.
find that. There's
There's you.
Oh, there's top.
There you are.
And there's Wayne. And I went
Fantastic.
because thanks to Michael Barnett, I'll quickly get back to what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
I was in LA doing some shows, and Michael Barnett took me to see the LA Kings practice. Wayne wasn't feeling good that day, so he simply said, hey, I want to throw on my gear and go. So yeah, sure, why not? And so at the end of the practice, when it was getting quieter, I step on the ice. And Kelly Rudy, right? Kelly Rudy is at the end of the rink, and he's got the headband, and he's in goal. And I skate, and Wayne's skates are too big, and I've got the jacket, the jersey tucked in. Just, I'm having fun with it. Wayne's already left. He left me the keys to his Porsche and said, find my house. I mean, it was a crazy day. I went around the net, and I hear this, Wayner. And I'm like, oh my God, Kelly Rudy thinks that I'm Wayne Gretzky. And he goes, Wayner. So I stop and I skate up to him, and he's like talking away, which I don't remember what he said. And then he freezes and he looks at me and goes, who the hell are you? And I said, I'm this figure skater guy. I'm kind of know Wayne Gretzky a little bit, and I'm wearing his clothes. And it was a great.
And that's Kelly Rudy. That's how he is. Hey, listen, talk to us about obviously winning the Lou Marsh Trophy in 1990. You also got the Lionel Conacher Award in 1990 and 91, Order of Canada in 1990. Wow, you were busy in the 90s.
Well, you know what? Those awards were hard to understand at the time. Things came fast after I became world champion a few times back to back. And I think it has as much to do with how big the sport was back then. Figure skating was really, really big. And at the Olympics, it killed as far as like how many people were watching. And television was paying a lot of money to show figure skating. And, before the internet, television was king, and figure skating ruled television, or was one of the top guys. So those awards came to me, I think. It was great and an honor to win them, but I think it also had a lot to do with what the sport was doing at the time as well.
Well, listen, I know we've got Brad Thorpe in the green room listening to all of this, but he's going to have to wait because we've got a couple more things that we want to tell. This is a part tour. I hope that we get a chance to bring you back and get really deep into some of these stories because there are so many of them. But first, show us this. It's show and tell. You show me that, and I'm going to show you something.
All right, here we go. I found it in the basement. Check that out, me and Moose. So the 75th anniversary of the NHL, they allowed each team to choose an honorary captain, and the Oilers chose me. And with that glorious honor of the C and the jersey and dropping the puck and all that stuff, they allowed me to practice with them 3 or 4 times. So I was actually in the dressing room and went to a few Stanley Cup parties, and I saw what happens up at those parties. And
thank you.
As a figure skater, coming way closer to the CFL, to the NFL, NHL, and as I ever would have if I'd have kept throwing a football or shooting a puck. I mean, it was kind of the 90s were crazy. it was so much fun.
All right, on Gooch Live, it's like Vegas. What happens in Vegas, only he's been told on Gooch Live. No, we'd have a disclaimer going on. Trust me, you don't have to tell me the stories. I had Mr. Gretzky over in Australia a couple of years ago for an event, and we had a couple of bubblies, and we had a couple-hour talk, and ouch. All right, so let's move on to something else that's very special.
Okay.
An American Skating World Professional Skater of the Year Award in 1998.
Yeah.
It's got to be special too, being recognized under that. And of course, Gustav Lucy Award from the Professional Skaters Association in 2001.
To be honored by your peers is probably, one of the best things. And recently, they just created a brand new award, a Lifetime Achievement Award from the International Skating Union. The World Championships were going to be in Montreal, but COVID took care of that, and it was canceled last March. But they were prepared to, I think, hand the Lifetime Achievement Award to a Canadian. So that's my latest claim to fame. And that one means a lot to me because I think that along with an award like that comes longevity. And I love the sport so much. I love the performance aspect of it, the acting aspect of it, the physicality, the musicality. And it's been a fun ride. It really has.
And trust me, you're an actor. I saw you last night on a commercial, and you did the skate, the twirl. I loved it. You look good. It looks like you could still professionally skate. All right, we're just going to go through a couple of more little accolades, and then we'll get into with Brad and talk about your ventures now. You can throw in anything you want, but I'm going to throw this at you. Show and tell. Hang on. Mine's next. Go.
I just
watch this. Watch this.
I got to put on the glasses to watch. Oh, I remember that kid.
Now that better be him. Oh my God, look at this.
Here we go. Ooh.
Now, did you stick it?
Nope, I didn't stick it. So that little turn at the end of that jump, that was the 4 revolution jump back in '88 in Budapest at the World Championships. And I thought that because of that little turn that they weren't going to count it. So I finished the rest of the program thinking, oh, that was a hanger on too. Thinking that unfortunately you were really close, but they weren't going to count it. And then near the end of the program, the Canadian team was over at the board screaming like crazy. And I'm like, why are my teammates freaking out? Like, it's a good skate. It was a good performance. And then I started thinking, while I'm competing, maybe they know something I don't know. Maybe the quad will count. So literally I was playing that game and I found out 10 minutes after I got off the ice that they decided to count it. So
it was amazing, like unbelievable.
Guinness World Record. Weird, right?
All right, you show and tell.
Show and tell. You talked about accolades. Sports Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Found this downstairs too.
All right, I got to strike that one off. I was going there. Beautiful. What a great picture.
And that's everybody who was inducted that year. Karen Percy. Oh my gosh, so cool. And I got them signed.
Bernie Geoffrion.
Yeah, signed
by
Geoffrion. Signed.
Boom, boom. Boom, boom. So Canadian Sports Hall of Fame in 1994, and then you were honored with the Canadian Walk of Fame in 2001, and then you were inducted into the World Figure Skating Hall of Fame in 2006.
Wow.
Man, what accolades beyond, but I think, what some people always want to say, which is your favorite? Hey, they're all your favorite because you earned them. There's no question. You're an actor. There's no question. You're artful. You're creative. You do all these incredible things on skates where, hockey players, we bash and crash, and you mentioned earlier, but you guys put your bodies through a lot. Talk to me about that, because people think, figure skating. No, figure skating, you guys are tremendous athletes, and we're going to get in that in a few minutes with Brad Thorpe. But talk to me about how much training it takes for you to have become like the quadruple flip that you did there. That takes, you should have done a triple flip, quadruple flip. But that must have taken years to practice and hone.
Yeah, I think that figure skating is one of the reasons why people respect it is because when you step on the ice, most people who, even top hockey players, would shake their head and go, how do you jump in the air and then land? And so it's like anything. You start young and you just pounding away at it until you're stronger, better, faster, higher, and all those Olympic mottos. And I think but with figure skating, it's such a weird sport because it does bring in so many physicality things. And it's kind of like golf. If you hit the ball right, you don't feel it. But when you hit it wrong, it really hurts. And figure skating's like that. You do it right, you're good. But unfortunately, there's a lot of repetitive motions, learning those jumps, a lot of falling. And I have a back fracture, the 2 discs that went out, knee surgery, like a scar here, all from smashing my own head on the ice. And it's weird how tough figure skating actually is on you, and all the while looking very graceful and easy if you do it right. So it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of a weird sport. You have to be an actor, you have to be a performer, and you have to sell your product out there. But you know what? I think that hockey players are performers too, and when they dipsy doodleitis and, top shelf or the peanut butter cup, when they do all those fancy things, it's for the fans.
Hey, listen, I apologize. I'm not using the lingo like you do. So I'm going to correct myself. It was a first ratified quadruple jump, not a flip. I'm told by my producer, he's going, Gouche, he's not doing this one. I knew that. I just watched it. Hey, listen, obviously, there's always a little bit of controversy in life. Helmets. Should there not be helmets in figure skating? What are your thoughts?
Well, at a certain point, the kids wear them. All our kids learn how to skate with helmets. And then lately, the kids have been wearing foam headbands or toques with foam built in, which is very cool. And they're lighter. And the reason why when you're learning a quad, a very difficult jump, that you're not wearing a helmet is because we spin so fast that having a big helmet on our head won't work. Basically, the helmet just doesn't work for our sport. There are harnesses that we use to support the skater when they're learning a hard jump. I never used it, but they're out there. So we're pretty darn good, considering how many ways to fall in figure skating. There actually isn't too many times where we have concussion situations. We're I don't know, when you're not padded, you really have to learn how to fall.
No question. Hey, obviously, Kurt, I'm not a professional interviewer on figure skating, so I'm really excited. You are my first. So thank you. Let me know if you be critical after. Don't be critical right now because I'm pretending I know what I'm doing. But I got to tell you, the one thing that I found the funniest of figure skating is one day, and you'll know exactly who this is, I'm sure. This young lady was figure skating. I think she got too close to the boards, and she did some sort of jump, and out she went. You remember that at all?
Midori Ito. It's quite it's sort of like in figure skating, if anybody trips and hit the boards or steps out quickly or goes through the door opening at the end of the rink, we call it Ito'd, like you Ito'd it. Midori Ito was one of the biggest jumpers in the sport to this day. And her and I, she was world champion in 1989 with me. And Midori was the first lady to do triple axel, and she was fantastic. So she did a triple and then another triple, and got so close that she hit and disappeared during competition out the end of the boards. You can probably Google it. And I think the story goes that she gets back, that on the way by, when she was out there, she apologized to the cameraman. She did a little bow and said sorry, and then got back on during her long program, the World Championships or something.
Well, what's funny about that? I saw her eating some popcorn. I thought she just wanted to sit down and have a little bit of fun with it all. Listen, obviously, we talked about acting, but also you've been in a lot of competitions. The Fox Television 2006, Skating with the Celebrities, and everybody knows this one, the Battle of the Blades. You're a tremendous host. What I found is you could do all those cool things. I know you probably taught that other guy, I think his name's McLean, how to do all those things, but you did it with a mic, jumping and dancing, and here's a great picture of it. Look at YouTube.
Put on the glasses. Oh, there we are. Oh my God, he was so much fun to perform with, and still is. Look at us laughing during the show.
No, he can skate. I know he's a referee.
He's really
I've met him several times. Yeah, he's good. Eh?
Yeah, this last season he didn't put on the figure skates, but he usually put on figure skates for certain aspects of the opening of the show, and we had so much fun coming up with little 20 or 30-second duets for us to open the show with. And you can see from that photograph, I'd like that photograph. I love the fact that he was unpredictable to perform with, because I really had to keep an eye on where he was going, and we were skating up to the ice. Skating up the ice towards the camera that was down low, and Ron and I are side by side, and we're supposed to spray the camera, and that camera's gone because we would obliterate the view because we'd cover it with snow, and then we would look up at the boom camera and do our on-camera hello to Canada. But I fell. I went and I lost my edges, and I slammed into the camera so hard that and the cameraman's laying there, and I hit it, and I got back up, and I was back up so fast and laughing. And he looked at me and he's like, what's going on? It wasn't until after the show, when people were talking, that he realized I'd fallen. He didn't notice. So I fell right beside you, Ron. I smashed into the camera. You didn't notice? I didn't notice.
Well, no, hey, there's not a camera or a mic he doesn't like, so it's pretty tough to grab it away from him. And I know Ron, so I'm not best buddies with him, but I know him through all my hockey stuff and Shoot for a Cure and all the things he's done. So tremendous stuff for us. Hey, listen, I just want to do a couple of comments, and then we're going to bring our buddy Brad up. Let's see here.
You do your comment. I'll be right back. I have something I want to show you.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen, we're really excited about having Brad Thorpe. He's doing a thing called Isofit. Our good friend Kurt's a part of it. We're going to talk about that. And then I got one of his friends popping up. Kurt doesn't know about it, but I got to.
Oh, really?
He can't hear me. He's popping up after just to say hello and say he's a pretty good skater. All right. What do you got for me?
Maurice Richard.
Oh, my God.
Got to have lunch with Maurice. And he was in a movie called Life After Hockey, pretty cool little movie. And he was out there acting that he was taking care of the ice. And it was kind of like a Legend of Bagger Vance kind of thing. And he was hitting pucks. So he had skates. He did not have skates on, but he was slapping pucks against the boards. He broke 2 of them. It was cold. But Maurice Richard hit the puck so hard, he cracked 2 in a row. Legend continues. And then the other thing is, I had these, you mentioned Walk of Fame, right? I was performing on my rollerblades in the Walk of Fame. And so I was wearing the number 10 Detroit jersey from Gordie Howe, and I was wearing these gloves. So I went up to Gordie afterwards, and I said, hey, Gordie, would these be kind of like what you were wearing? And he said, he grabbed it from me really brusquely, and he goes, no. And then he took out a Sharpie, and he was doing something. Then he goes, now they are. And you can see that Gordie, he drew, and he goes, if they were mine, they would have had a Stanley Cup ring. So he drew Stanley Cup ring on that. So that's my hockey.
I bow down. I'm not worthy. That was fantastic. Thank you for sharing. That's what this is all about. People coming on our show, whether you're a hockey, figure skater, we've had rugby guys on. We just want to hear the story. Everybody wants to hear the stories that they can't read about. Or what was the name of the movie again? Val wants to make sure that we take
Life After Hockey. It was
all right.
I played a figure skating coach, and I played him very light in the heels. It was kind of fun. It was fun.
All right. Okay. So here, Tracy DeLue, believe it or not, I know her from Winnipeg. She's a wonderful, beautiful human being. I did not know Brad. You know her? Cool. Say hi to Brad. He's killing it. Isofit. That's supposed to be softly, I think. Yeah, I'm not too bad at this. EJ, should Canada consider boycotting? Again, it's a political thing. What are your thoughts right now with all the things with, obviously we don't know what's going on. I don't want to get into COVID. I don't want to get into the politics of all this. I didn't see that question, but again, it's a great question. EJ, what are your thoughts? Should we continue on battling through this, or should we wait until we have this thing under control?
Was that question for me? Sorry, I thought you were talking.
No, I'm shooting at you.
You know what? I don't think anybody's got the answer. There's certain countries out there that shut down really hard at the beginning, and people were agonizing at home, not allowed to leave their apartments. Atrocities happened, and yet less deaths, and those countries are back rolling and in business, and we're not. So there's no right or wrong way. Should the Summer Olympics been canceled? Yes, I guess they should have been. Yeah. But now, we're it's getting to be summer again soon. Has it already been a year almost?
It's unbelievable.
Are you telling me that decision is coming again? Like, do we postpone it again? So I unfortunately always will defer towards saving lives. So I feel like I have to patiently wait for the world to make sense again. But at some point, we're all going to crack in half, and it just doesn't make sense anymore. So I don't have the answer, I guess. That makes me a perfect politician.
Absolutely. Thank you. I should have picked that one up. Listen, we're just going to make a couple more comments here. Some people, we've got lots of people asking questions, so just a couple more. I apologize. I said Maureen Tun from Melbourne, Australia. That was another Maureen, so I apologize. These are false. I know her very well. Please give our best to Steve Ludzik. I don't know if you know it, but he's been very ill. So thank you for joining us. And she wants to know, how hard was it to incorporate Gene Kelly dancing in the rain? That was amazing. So.
Well, the story, thank you, by the way, first off, thank you. The story is that we were doing a TV special, and at the end of this long meeting with a lot of top Toronto people in a big, huge table, and everybody was getting up. John Brunton, the producer, looked at me and he said, "It's one more question." He said, "If there's anything you've ever wanted to do, but it's impossible, like a fantasy dream skate, what would it be?" And then everyone in the room looked at me, and I don't know where it came from, just out of my head. I remember that my mom enjoyed watching Gene Kelly and Singing in the Rain. And somehow, I'd never thought of skating it before. I said, wouldn't that be cool to do Singing in the Rain? But how am I going to skate in rain? And then they made it rain. So that's where that came from. And the actual portrayal of Gene Kelly came quite natural. It was from the heart. And it involved a lot of that acting that you like mentioning, and I think that, and I always love a hat and a prop, so I was in heaven to perform that. And I'll probably, if I have to choose one program to end my career with, it would be that one, definitely.
It is amazing. Hey, listen, my mother's favorite song, actually. I got to mention, I want to do a shout out. My sister's birthday today. She would have been 58. I apologize. I should have done that right at the beginning of the show. It just, the reason why I'm saying that is there's a question coming here from Kevin Shea, one of my favorites. He's on tonight on Facebook with Hockey Time Machine. He's asking about a leaf puck. It's the last question. I apologize to everybody we didn't get to. I know that I'm going to convince or twist his arm that Kurt Browning will come back to our show and tell us more stories, but this is the final story. Tell us about the puck.
The leaf puck. You mean like, I know as a kid I used to paint the Maple Leaf because of the Toronto Maple Leafs on all my stuff, on my shoulder pads, on my pucks, so that when you played shinny hockey, you knew which puck. I think that's what the question is about when you say leaf puck.
I really apologize. Kevin Shea, who's a hockey historian, obviously you're not a figure skater historian, but he says, yes, that one.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was, I mean, it's just ironic, I think, and I still have them. I still, I have them. And I think that it's just kind of funny that Scott Moyer, the most winningest figure skater in the world. I mean, there's so many of us figure skaters who wanted to be hockey players, and it, so our stories are more. There's more hockey in our background than people actually would think. In fact, I did a TV special a million years ago, and I dedicated a number in the TV special to all those guys that made fun of me because I was figure skating. Take this, and I played a little bit of hockey before that, and then skated with three beautiful girls, and it was take that. There you go.
You take that. Hey, listen, exactly. I look forward to getting you back and talking some more stories, if you don't mind, because I've got a story, and it's Katarina Witt. And we're gonna leave it at that. I met her in Germany. What a beautiful human being, and it was kind of fun. All right, listen.
Kat has a way of creating stories everywhere she goes, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Hey, Carrie, thanks to Kurt for being here today. Kurt, I've watched your entire career with admiration. Singing in the Rain, one of my favorite performances. My son, Donald, loved you. You were such an amazing male ambassador for skating and Canada. There is no question. And Donna, we think of your son all the time, Donald. Thank you for sharing that with us. Wonderful. Listen, I got a call from a guy named Brad Thorpe, and he says, hey, listen, would you entertain the idea of having Kurt Browning on your show? And I said, today? And he said, well, no, I got to arrange it. And I said, can you do it this week? Because next week we're That's why I'm asking you. Yeah, I know you're coming back because I saw the red M&Ms you ate in the green room. What we're going to do is we're changing up a little bit. Paul Rosen and I are doing a big announcement tomorrow. It's going to be bigger and better. And so we're excited to have you on one of our inaugural shows. We'll let Brad come too, I guess. But now it's all about you and life after hockey. You played it in the movie. Obviously, as a skater, you know, we can't skate forever. I have a tough time getting out of bed now with my knees. I'm sure that you've struggled a little bit with your injuries playing sport. So now let's find out from Brad what's going on with the afterlife. Here he is, Brad Thorpe from Isofit.
Well, thanks for having me as always. And just to be clear, Kurt is still skating because of our relationship, I think, which is fantastic. And being a just fanboy, for lack of a better word.
Who's a fanboy?
I'm fanboy.
No, I'm head of the. I'm the head of the fan club now.
So it's like absolutely crazy. So, you know, the gym I own in Toronto, Kurt was coming in there for personal training and stuff like this. And, you know, I would see him walk in and it's like, oh, damn, that's Kurt Browning. Hey, oh my God, wow, that's incredible. But I wouldn't go near him and talk to him because it was like, I don't know if he's approachable. I know nothing, like just in awe. And you know this. So, and the unfortunate part, like, it's like, hey, Kurt, I'm Brad, I'm the owner. And I'd run away and let him do his thing because I didn't want to like be an imposition by any means. And unfortunately, or fortunately, actually, I'll go fortunately, because it changed my life. Kurt Browning had an incident in, ironically, hockey. And, you know, he had an injury and his trainer at the time said, hey, I think Brad can help you recover from the injury and get you back to just feeling better. And I'll let Kurt sort of tell the story. So it's, you know, 100% accurate from the, call it the horse's mouth. But I think at that point, you may have almost been like pseudo-retired from figure skating.
Yeah, Brad, I was. I had well over a year of not really performing, and I kind of was playing around once again with the idea of retiring because I'm 54 now, and let's be realistic. Who wants to watch somebody getting older and at center ice? And so I was playing around with the idea of not doing it. And so once I wasn't figure skating, I thought, hey, I can go play shinny hockey again because I'm, you know, if I get hurt, I'm not going to be missing shows. Well, that's exactly what happened. I got hurt. I was reaching for the puck down low and I got hit. And to make a long story short, I was messed up, nerve damage, and I couldn't really skate. I had this neat opportunity to be in a show in Spain. One of my best friends and one of my favorite choreographers was working it. And then the injury came and through Brad, I was like, can I possibly get back really quickly and stumble through this show? Because I really don't want to miss it. I was retired, but I thought this one time I want to get back on the ice. And so that's what happened. He sort of took me into the Isofit family and said, yeah, try this. And I made the show. I wasn't great in the show, but I made it. And then it reinvigorated my idea of my expectation of what I could do. So since then, I've been performing, and I'm kind of hoping that I can make it to 30 years of Stars on Ice. And thanks to that hockey injury and thanks to Brad and Isofit, I hopefully will be performing for a couple more years, or who knows? Who knows?
So there's a question as we go through here. How different was it to skate competitively and now around the countries with Icecapades and all the different shows that you do? Is there a difference? Obviously, we talked a little bit about the competitiveness, right? Of you, Stoico, you know, but what is it like when you're on these shows? Is there a competitiveness? Is it difficult? Is it tiring? Or is it just about you having fun and entertaining the crowd?
It's all of that. It's all of that. And that, you know, when I'm on the ice and I'm competing for Canada so long ago, I mean, that was everything. And you didn't even think very far past that, because when you're young and you're in the moment and you're at the top of the world and fighting for a world or Olympic title, that's everything. And then eventually it drifted off into exploring the creativity, the acting stuff, but the physicality never leaves. The competitiveness never leaves. You want to be as big a part of the show as you can, which means you need the jumps, you need the backflip, and you need great, strong skating skills, and you need your health. So even though I turned professional, I wasn't competing anymore. My health is basically my injuries or my back or whatever it might have been was part of the reason why I decided I didn't need to skate anymore. I wasn't going to perform. And so now that I'm feeling healthy again, I'm hoping to, see how far I can push it and keep on the ice and maybe make it to that 30-year milestone for Stars on Ice.
Well, there's no question you will. Yeah.
Right. So I'm still trying to bug Kurt, and currently he's still adamant about the answer being no. I want to see if I can get him back to doing a quad.
Yeah, that's
void of his physical health, and if he crashes and breaks something, I can put him back together again. But it really, I love the idea of, hey, you might have been the first person, but let's also have you be the oldest person.
Hey, Kurt, I went back and played in what's somewhat of a professional game. It was like 7th division in Germany at 59. Don't do it. Listen, let's take a peek at something that's really, this is really cool. Out of the things that you sent me, Brad, I couldn't get all the videos up. Val did a great job. This is cool, and I want you guys to talk over as he shows this video. Here we go.
I sent you so much. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, as a Canadian inventor, to have Kurt Browning skate that MSK, because the product he's carrying right now is called the Isofit MSK. So he skated that logo or that the words into the ice and the snow, which blew my mind. And there's Kurt Browning right there, carrying my product. And so for me, fanboying, it's kind of like, wow, you got to be kidding me. I have the ability to not only help out like an idol of mine, regenerate his health and get better and perform, and realistically bring Kurt Browning back to the world, because I don't think the world's done seeing him. I know I'm not. I didn't have the privilege as a kid to see him on, live or anything like that. But, thanks to Kurt, I've seen him a couple times on, Battle of the Blades and Stars on Ice and everything like that. And it's like just mind-blowing, the physicality of figure skating. And he's introduced me to, several people in that world now. And we've been able to help a lot of people regain their function back just by teaching them, our methods with Isofit. And whether you use the machine or not, it has that ability to help recover people. And, so I'm kind of like the guy who helps retired athletes regain their function back, right? So with you, Carrie, you're going to be our pet project. We're going to do a before-after photo. We're going to do a 3-month stint where you can't say no, because you can't go travel anywhere now, so you got no excuse.
Oh, Jesus.
We're going to rebuild your body with a machine that doesn't move, right?
Well, you're going to have to take off some of the gaffer tape and the crazy glue that's holding it all together, I think. Well, that's fantastic.
We can do all that.
Now,
but
Kurt, that's Kurt, right? That's you doing these things?
Yeah, and that's the MSK, and it's called MSK because it stands for Mobile Strength Kit. Brad named it, and it's kind of a cute little name, don't you think, Brad? And then it's you can fold it up and put it under the bed, or you can put it in your car and go somewhere like out to a park and have a good workout. And what you're seeing there are exercises from his program called 30 and 30. It's 30 exercises in 30 minutes. Literally, no warm up, no stretching afterwards, because you don't need it. I mean, it's good to do it, but you don't need it. So literally, you could work out for 30 minutes a day. And
all right, I got an idea. Well, we can't do it 30 minutes, but we're going to do a 10 and 10. All right, next time we're going to organize this up when we are, and I'm going to do 1 and 1, and Kurt, you're going to do 10 and 10. All right, so we're going to do this. I'm going to start.
What we'll do, Carrie, we'll put you and Kurt beside each other, or at least on camera beside each other, depending on where we are COVID-wise. And what we're going to have like a competition. We're going to see who takes less time to complete each exercise.
Oh my God. Okay. I don't think the insurance will allow that, but we will talk about that. Listen, talk just a couple more minutes on Isofit. We are going to bring it back because it is. I actually was probably the guinea pig. Don't forget, many years ago, you had my wife and I out, and I must admit, it was the hardest thing I ever did, but the best thing I ever did. And I thought, okay, I'm going to lift these, these big, huge weights, but no, I'm pushing against my own body, and I actually was getting better. But I hated coming to the store because I had to find parking, and I got more parking tickets, so I couldn't afford to come anymore.
I know that.
You know that reason.
Yeah.
And they're serious. These are serious parking tickets.
Oh,
Brad, tell us.
I picked one up the other day. I was shipping something. It was $100 parking ticket because I went to ship basically a T-shirt, and I was like, man, I sent them a whole bunch of T-shirts for the parking ticket.
Well, they don't have much to do other than doing that. Tell me, Brad, how did you get Kurt into it? I know, sometimes a lot, guys and Kurt, you can answer this along with it. I'm in the concussion space. Keith Primo is with me. He's a pretty big name hockey player. And we get a lot of offers. Hey, I got this, I got that. Come and do this and do that. This happened. Give me quotes when we get back. I want to focus on just Kurt and telling us some of those cool stories for about 10 minutes. And then we're getting deep into Isofit. Go.
So basically what happened was I helped Kurt regain his career. So at that point, the light bulb went off in his brain, I assume, and said, hey, if this helped me, how many other Canadians and people around the world could we truly help get better, whether it's, from a health perspective or a performance perspective? Like, I personally think that everyone, whether they're a professional athlete or the general population person at home, can benefit from this. Because the difference between what we do with Isofit and what traditional gym-based exercise is and performance training is the gym-based exercise and the performance training world focuses on movement, right? What we help people do is prepare for movement. So that way, when you go to do a quad, whether you go to play hockey, your body is stronger and more stable in order to play the sport or the activity you love better, safer. So Kurt fell in love with it, basically. And I think, we had many conversations over the years. And, if my brain remembers correctly, you kept bugging me. Hey, I want to be involved. I want to be involved. I want to be involved. And it was like, how? Yes. How? And, and I'm like the luckiest man alive. I can't say that enough.
Jesus. That's what my wife says too, but she said, hang on a sec here. I didn't mean, she says she's the luckiest. Oh my God, all right, listen, I go get away from that. What am I talking here? Then if you're that good, Brad, here's a question for it. When was the last time, Kurt, you landed the quad?
88, I believe.
No, 2009, I think, was the last one that I landed. 2008.
88 was when you landed the first one, was it not?
2008 was the last one I did in a show. And I think 2009, I did a couple more just for myself, just for fun. And then I tried a couple more, but then I just let it go. I just let it fade away.
Okay. Yeah, because it's not very complicated. You're just spinning a couple times. My
Yep.
goodness. Hey, listen, Tracy DeLu, all the way from Winnipeg. I don't know if you remember the name. She's a beautiful lady. She was involved with me. Yep, Tracy and I. She was. She actually worked for me in the bar called Fridays, and I found out later she was too young. Don't forget that, Tracy. We won't tell. Shh. Don't tell your kids. We'll get yourself in trouble. Incredible person. I know she talks very highly of you, Brad. So I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. We have a social media relationship now due to COVID and stuff like that. And she gives me beautiful insight a lot of times.
Very smart. Very smart.
Beyond smart. Like thank you.
She was a great friend of my sister's. As you know, it's her birthday today. Yep. We lost her. Tracy was always so kind when we did. So thank you for that. All right, listen, guys, we're going to bring you back. I love what I see. I love the bet. Kurt, are you up to that? You do 10 and you do 10, do 5. If I beat you.
I'll take the stakes. I'll take the, I'll hedge.
No. I'll eat the steaks, then we'll try it. All right, listen. I promised you. I promised you that I would bring up a friend. He called as soon as he knew you were on. He's one of our guys that come on. As you know, tomorrow we're going to have the opportunity to have Paul Rosen back. He's been having some health problems, but he's back at it. So we're really excited about getting him here, and we're going to be making some big announcements. And so I'm really excited. I'm just stalling, guys, because I got to find. I got to find the picture. And what do you think of? Okay, there we go. We'll go to that one. Here's what I want to show you. Do you know this person?
Ron McLean, a leftover figure skater, and Chuck.
There's Chuck.
Chuck Bobuck. There he is.
Okay, talk.
Oh, Chuck's mic's up.
Oh my God!
Oh, you're
so unprofessional.
Wow, I was eating too many M&Ms in the green room. You got to get rid of those things. I'm getting fat now.
That's no question there. Are you in? Okay, I am so honored that Kurt challenged me to a. I'm only 4 pounds over, but I'm going to get down. When are we going to do it? Let's give me a couple weeks, okay? So at least I'll get on my treadmill after I take all the clothes and jerseys off it. I'm going to do 2 weeks of working out, and then I'm ready. All right,
But
Chuck,
dude,
tell us a little.
In that 2 weeks, you'll be fine. You'll be like light years ahead.
one too many Gretzky's cream. All right, Chuck, I know you wanted to say a few things to your buddy. I know you guys obviously have been part of Battle of Blades. I didn't see you skating though, Chuck, but I know. Please tell us.
No, I mean, I was lucky enough to get on the Battle of Blades with Jeremy Roenick when he was a guest judge back in the early 10s and 12s and 11s. But one of the things I think I always say that we live on a starvation diet of acknowledgement out there. And I know that I want to say Kurt Browning is one of the most connectable people that you'll ever meet in your entire life. And I'm not just throwing sunshine up your ass as well, but there's moments that you have that when you meet somebody and you're just like, wow, this is a really cool moment. But one of the times I met Bobby Orr and I was sitting down at the Air Canada Center on game day skate, and there was a lineup of people on game day on a Saturday night and hockey night in Canada to line up to meet Bobby Orr, and I'm sitting right next to him. And I look at, it was Barry Trotz was there. The Capitals were playing that day. And I'm like, Trotz, you waiting in line for Bobby Orr? And he's just like, Bobby Orr. And one of these things was, for me, like this, the parallel where I'm going with this is Kurt Browning. So we're sitting there after Battle of the Blades one time, and a woman was sitting next to me. She was the mother of one of the journalists I was working with. And she had this Taller Cranston book in her hand. And it was like, 1979 Taller Cranston with all the, the garb and all the flair he used to sport around and the twirly whirly stuff. And she's Kurt Browning is my biggest hero. I love Kurt Browning. I'm like, okay, well, listen, we'll take you over to the side and get you to meet Kurt Browning. She's like, I want him to sign my book. And I'm like, okay, well, that's up to Kurt. And Kurt, when she came around, you looked at it and your eyes were like saucers when you saw this Taller Cranston book. And you're just like, listen, I really don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I don't want to sign this out of respect for Taller because he's just like the god of figure skating. And she's like, no, I want you to sign it. He's like, I will sign anything else, but out of respect for Taller Cranston, I'm not going to sign that book. And that to me was my Bobby Orr moment. Like, here you were, the absolute god of her life, and just the respect that you had for another person that was a hero of yours was like, that was a great human moment for me.
That's pretty nice of you to tell that story, and thank you. I remember that moment, and I remember thinking afterwards that maybe I had done the wrong thing, but that's how I felt at the time. But if Taller Cranston ever wanted to sign my book, damn right, no problem, he can sign my book. But somehow in that moment, that was the decision I made. But I think we signed something else for her, hopefully.
Yeah, and she went away in a puddle as well. She was just like happier than a clam.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you what a great day. I can't thank you enough. I know, Chuck, you've got a parting gift. You've eaten all the M&Ms because you waited so long. I really want to say, Brad, thank you for giving us this moment. I've done, I met a lot of people in my lifetime, but how gracious and how accommodating you were, Kurt, to get you on. It was easy. We didn't even have to fool around getting you, Val trying to figure out how to get you on the internet because it took him about a month to get me on. That's incredible. So I'm really excited about having you both back on. Paul and I are going to start working out. We're going to see if we can get ready for the big contest. So Chuck, last comments to you.
I just want to say thank you to Kurt for all your work that you do with Battle of the Blades. I mean, it is an amazing, connected human interest story that just, the ripple effect of the Battle of the Blades, what Sandra Bezic has put together, and how you and Ron just spin wonderful stories, which make huge difference for charities and people's lives that get changed because of that. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful TV shows that will ever air, and I love Sandra Bezic for never giving up on that idea for that show, and for all the hard work that you guys put into it.
Sandra Bezic,
all right,
known as the lady who did so many of my great programs, and she's an inspiration for me. The show brings Canada together. Everyone
really does.
Has a different reason why they would want to watch Battle of the Blades. So it's an honor to be a part of it.
Obviously, Kurt, we're going to give you the final word, but I want to go to you, Brad. How do we get more information about Isofit? How do we get, I know that Val can pop up the website really quickly for us. Is it isofit.com?
It's Isofit MSK, so ISOPHIT MSK.ca.
I apologize. I should have had that up. And it'll go on the show. It'll go on the show and people will see it over the large viewing that we see. Thank you for that. And I guess I've got to come down and get one, right? So I'll buy it, whatever. And I got to start working out on it because I got to figure out, which way's up.
And one of the great things that we've been able to do over the last little bit, just to steal a little bit more time. So we teamed up with an organization. Well, because I started a private school in August and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But a good friend of mine is in basically Kathmandu, Nepal. And so we've teamed up with this charity organization. And so Isofit has pledged over the next 5 years to send 250 Nepalese children to school. So that's one of the most amazing things that we've been able to do as a company. We're still new, but my mission in life, as you know, Carrie, is to create health, change lives, and give back. So it's an opportunity for us. And the only request, I'm not going to say it didn't come without stipulations. The only request was they would take a photograph of somebody using an Isofit MSK, which we donated to the schools, with basically Mount Everest in the background.
All right. So I'm going to tell you right now, guys, it is your lucky day. I do a program. I'm sure, Chuck, you have heard it. Kurt and Brad, you're going to want to know about this lady. Her name's Jill Wheatley. I'm not going to bore you with all the details right now. I will do it off camera. She 30% vision. She's in Kathmandu right now. She climbs mountains, guys. She's got one eye's completely closed from a freak accident in Munich, and she just finished, I think it's called Ama Dabur or something like that, 7,000 meters on 30% vision, and she is going to be there with you. We're going to get her one of those MSKs. We'll figure out how to get it to her because she's just an incredible ambassador. So I love to hear about that. Thank you for sharing that with us, Brad. Please send me all those details. We're going to get that up on our website. Kurt, final part to you, please.
Like I said at the beginning, it's just so much fun to be a figure skater and to get to be around the things that inspired you as a kid. So I went to the rink, became a figure skater, and then I showed you the pictures. I got to meet hockey players and do Battle of Blades and hang out with Ron McLean. And so even still to this day, when I get invited to a sports show, I get nervous because I know I can't compete with the stats and I don't keep up with sports the way I used to. And it's just an honor. I've always thought it's pretty cool when big time heavy duty sports acknowledge figure skating. So thank you very much. It's been a lot of fun to share my stories with you, and you're a blast as always. And Brad and I have this adventure ahead of us called Isofit that we both hope intrigue people and make them healthy and happier. And it sure is working for me. And I just love I just love the fact that I think older people as well, we've been talking a lot about athletes, but I think it's a great way to age and still exercise and have your joints be nice and strong. So I'm in for the long haul.
Fantastic. Really enjoy that. And you know what? Out of all the accolades, now you've been on Gouche Live featuring Paul Rosen. The only thing missing is Paul Rosen. Hey, but look at this one. Final point. Goodbye, guys. Look at this.
What you got?
Almost looks like twins. Kurt's my body. I'm your double. Bye, ladies and gentlemen. Kurt, thank you so much. You were amazing. Brad, thank you. Look forward to you.
Thanks, Kurt.
Wow, that was amazing. I really enjoyed that. To bring Chuck up just one sec. Chuck, okay, sorry about that. Chuck, thank you for surprising us. I know he really appreciated that. What a quality guy. I'm telling, I've only met him once before. One of those guys, one of those celebs you want to hang out with. You know, he's down to earth. He tells it like it is.
Of humility. If you want to use the word humility, he's one of the most connectable, down to earth. I'd sit there and I'd watch him, like people who've been waiting for a long time for autographs, just to talk to him and get a picture with him, and he just never ever disappointed. He was just it's a class act every single time.
You know what's funny? The bank waits for me to sign autographs. So come on, be honest. All right, listen, I really enjoyed this show. Thank you for popping on. Tomorrow, big day. Big day. Stephen Ellis is going to be here. We're going to talk about the quarter part of the NHL. Where are we at? There's lots of stuff behind the scenes going on. There is some inkling that they may have to cut the season short. We'll keep our nose to the grindstone to figure that one out. Obviously, COVID is playing havoc. The Habs game tonight is being delayed 1 hour. What does that mean exactly? Will it take place? And of course, breaking news, and it's a disaster in Toronto. Marner and Matthews did not score last night. Oh, but Leafs won. All right. Hey, thank you, Chuck. I look forward to. We're not going to have a Mental Health Monday this week. Connected will be back the following Monday because we're taking the weekend off. We're putting a new coat of paint on Gouche Live, and there's big news for Paul Rosen, and it's coming to you here. Chuck, thank you.
I'm excited to watch that as well. And have everyone have a good, solid Family Day weekend as well.
Take advantage of it. Hey, obviously, you've been watching Gouche Live featuring Paul Rosen, brought to you by those good people at the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated. Val, as usual, thank you. We won't do our predictions today. We'll do it tomorrow. I'm up 80-21 anyways. Good night, people.
Good night.
Let's play some hockey.